What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. And as you see, we're doing Arkansas State's top 8. On our left, we have Kenton Anderson from Memphis, Tennessee. And on the right, we have Brit Pybas from Springfield, Missouri. I'm pretty sure I'm correct. But on the left, we have Kenton. I'm pretty sure he's playing Darkrai, Yveltal, Toad. And on the right, you see, it looks like Brit's playing a Genesect Virizion deck. But he's actually playing a Exeggutor. So here we see Brit play Acrobite. You get to draw into two cards, pick one, and you discard one. I mean, basically, you look at the top two cards and discard one, put one in your hand. So here we see an Execute, Muscle Band, Verbank come out. It doesn't seem like Brit has a supporter. So we have a Jirachi. Alright, so I imagine this will get a Juniper for the turn. Now, I know Brit does play the one Getsus, but usually you just use that against like Flareon and Night March decks turn one and kind of shut them down automatically. But here we see a Juniper, discard his hand, and draw 7 cards. Now, what Brit needs to see here is another egg. If he can get 2 eggs out this turn, it's pretty crucial. Because if he doesn't, all Kenton has to do is Lysander with the Execute and knock it out for the turn. But we see a Battle Compressor. And here we see a Napoleon and an Archie's. And imagine maybe another egg here. Or Brit could go for maybe a Flare Grunt too. He does play 2 Flare Grunts in his deck. Okay, so we see a Verbank. Yeah, there's no need for Verbank anymore. Kenton does play his own Verbanks too, so it's kind of a dead card in your deck. Here we see Brit play Computer Search, discard 2 Executes. That is a pretty cool. He had 2 eggs in his deck, in his hand already, so that's why he didn't Battle Compressor anyway. He must have the third one in his hand, or the last one is a surprise or something. But of course, Computer Search, discard 2 cards, search deck for any card put in your hand. Oh, so you have the 4th one in hand. Alright, so here we see a Grass attached to Genesect for the turn. Which is kind of weird. If I was Brit, I might have put the Grass on an egg. Just, if Kenton plays like Escape Rope or something, you can still, like, retreat and attack with egg for the turn. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure Brit knows what he's doing, too. So, but here we see Kenton, Ultra Ball for Jirachi to get a Chorus. And we can see a Chorus for 6. I guess this way he doesn't, maybe he had really good cards in his hand that he didn't want a Juniper. And that he didn't want Brit to actually have more cards in his hand. Because it seems like Brit only has 2 cards in his hand. Here we've seen Yveltal come down. Another Yveltal come down. And see another Ultra Ball from Kenton. Okay, so we see a discarding an in and a Dark Energy. Here we see a Trubbish. Now if Kenton does get the Garbodor line, it kind of hurts Brit a lot. Because that way Brit can't use Red Signal. He can't use Verdant Wind. Can't use Jirachi anymore, so and he can't even propagate. So the only way he can get eggs back is by actually just trump carding and drawing to them. But here we see Brit have the Exeggutor in his hand and the Juniper too. Now he needs a Grass Energy. Here we see another Exeggutor come down, and we just see a pass. No energy from Brit, kind of just whiffed there. But here we see Ken display a Juniper. Doesn't even bother with the laser. So. Alright, so we see that Kent does have the Floatstone. Question is, where is he going to attach it? I imagine it would go into the Trubbish. He has the Ultra Ball in his hand, too, to get the Garbodor. That's what I imagine he would do for the turn. But here we see a DCE going into the Yveltal. Floatstone on Trubbish. Here we see a Ultra Ball. Kent's trying to debate, do I keep the Muscle Band? Do I discard it? Oh, so actually just going to see a Quake Punch for another 30. Maybe Kenton didn't want to discard cards in his hand. Maybe they're too crucial. On to Brit's turn, so that Genesect has 60 damage just from Quake Punches. So let's see what Brit can do this turn. I see a Battle Compressor in his hand at least, and we're just going to see another pass from Brit. Brit has not had the best of hands so far, and we're going to see a Verse Seeker here for Chorus, and this is going to get Kenton 9 cards. Yeah, 4 on Brit's side and 5 on Kenton's. So I guess this is one of the problems with Exeggutor is just whiffing energies. I think the list only played 8 at the time. Here we see a Dark going onto the Yveltal, Floatstone on the on the Seismitoad. The Yveltal's going to do 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. It is going to knock out this Genesect. The Kitten's going to go up 2 prizes. Here we see the Garbodor come online too. And here we'll see an Yveltal for 120. Knocking out this Genesect. The Kitten's going to go up 2 prizes. Alright, so now on to Brit's turn. What's going to happen here? See a Crush Hammer in his hand, which you can use to get rid of the DCE, I would imagine. Let's see what happens here. Question Hammer. Alright, rolls off the table. Question Hammer heads. And we see the DC gets discarded. Can't disagree with that. Here we see a laser. Heads. Yveltal's now asleep. See another muscle bag coming down. Executor. See a battle compressor. I wonder what 3 cards he's going to discard this time. He already has 2 executes in the discard pile. He has Empoleon. He has Archie's. So here we see an Ultra Ball. Kind of makes sense because he doesn't need to search out anything. See another battle compressor. I might actually do the Mr. Mime. Oh, never mind. Brit sees something else in his deck that he wants to do instead. So just those two. He actually is going to keep the Mr. Mime in his deck. Alright, so here we see a battle compressor discarding a Mr. Mime, Getsis, and an Ultra Ball. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Snapchat went off. Blame Roll Ready if you know him. Here we see an Acrobike, and we see the Plasma Energy in his hand. Alright, so that's pretty cool. Oh, well, he must have had 2 Plasma Energies or something. The Acrobike. Alright, so he gets a Grass Energy at least. There we see a Grass Energy, and then we see a Trump card. So a Trump card makes it where each player shuffles the discard pile into the deck except the Trump card. That's why I see the Trump card sitting out by itself. And also, if Kenton had a Trump card, it would also stay in the discard too. Alright, so here we're going to see a Blockade for 10, plus the Muscle Band 20, which makes it 30. Then the Poison Verbatim makes another 30, so it's 60 right here. Here we see a laser coming from Kenton. Tails. Now Kenton needs to hit heads on these lasers. That's kind of his one way to win here. Because if he could do that, he could just make it where he could blockade, or makes it where Brit can't blockade next turn if he does flip tails on sleep. If that makes sense. So basically, Kent has to flip heads, then Brit has to flip tails, and that way Kent can use blockade for the turn. Or Brit can't use blockade and make it where Kent can use supporter. Sorry about that. But here we see Brit play a Juniper, discard his hand, draw 7. We see another egg come online. We see a Muscle Band. We see a Plasma Energy on the Executor. Now, I know in Brit's list, he doesn't play as a Rosic, he doesn't play Megaphones, so that Garbodor is just going to stay online this whole game. But I don't think it's really going to matter here. We're going to see another Blockade for 60, bringing up that Yveltal to 150, and then when it passes, it's actually going to get knocked out coming back into Brit's turn, which is pretty cool. Here we see heads. The Yveltal does wake up. The question here is, does Kenton have energy, and does he want to waste it? I would say yes, just so you have a yeah. I would waste the turn retreating. That way, Brit doesn't go up on 2 prizes, and he has to just let the Yveltal sit there. Because in Brit's list, he doesn't play Lysander either, so we're just gonna be sitting here waiting. Now Yveltal is going to sit there forever with 150. So here we see not a blockade. We see a Quake Punch for a knockout. Now on to Brit's turn, we see a Grass Energy going to the execute. Here we see a Team Flare Grunt, which discards a energy from the active Pokemon. So we see the DC go away. Here we see a Dark going into the Baby Yveltal. And this is where it starts getting fun. We're just going to see a bunch of Oblivion Wings, stuff like that. Alright, so here's the Oblivion Wing for 30. Put on the egg. Back to Brit's turn. Here we see a Laser. Alright, so now that Yveltal is asleep, this is kind of a crucial part. Because if the Yveltal stays asleep, obviously it can't attack. The Kent can accelerate energies, stuff like that. So here we see Brit use Battle Compressor, discard a Battle Compressor, Ultra Ball, Mr. Mime. And he keeps the Ultra Ball in his deck, so that way when he draws into it, he can get another Executor out online. So here we see another Juniper from Brit. Alright, let's see what Brit has. Here we see another Executor. Does he get another egg? Oh, nice, he gets another egg and a Genesect, okay. Plasma Energy going to the Executor, and this is so he can Stomp. Now, Stomp does 60, flip a coin of heads, I think 30 more? I could be wrong. I want to say it does 30 more. But here we see Kenton flip a coin for the sleep, and he does wake up. So we see he Stomp through 60. We see Kenton drawn to a Dark Energy, goes into the Yveltal, that's not hurt. I think we're going to see another Oblivion Wing here for 30. Have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, I would imagine that's what's going to happen here. Kenton's debating what to do. Maybe he's debating where this energy goes to. Oh, so we actually see a switch from Kenton. So here we're going to see an Evolve for a knockout. Now Kenton's down to 2 prizes. Alright, so on to Brit's turn. He needs to get, once again, just another energy, another Executor, stuff like that. Ooh, this is actually a close game. There we see a Juniper from Brit. Now, Brit hasn't played many Crush Hammers this second turn around after he's trump card. Maybe a lot of the Crush Hammers are prized. Oh, speaking of Crush Hammer, here it comes. So here we see it. Crush Hammer flip heads, gets off the active. Oh, another Crush Hammer heads. Alright, so now that Yveltal is chilling there with no energies, no way to retreat. And here we're going to see a blockade, 460. See what's happening here. Maybe Brit's trying to see what's all discard and stuff like that. Alright, here we see an acrobike. So he actually drew into two acrobikes with that acrobike. I saw Brit do that multiple times throughout the tournament. And here we see, wow, Brit flipped 3 out of 3 heads that turn. Pretty cool. Kenton stays asleep. Alright, and the Yveltal takes 90. Still asleep, or up to 90, sorry, it doesn't take 90. But this is the power of Zekator. It's a very comebackish deck, so. Alright, but I think Brit, if he has the chance to trump card here, I would definitely do it. So here we see a computer search, discarding an Ultra Ball and a Plasma Energy. Because he can't use eggs to propagate because of the Garbodor. Here we see a Verse Seeker for the trump card and play it. Like I said, that's pretty good. Like turn you want to do. So that way, Brit gets all of his resources back. He gets all of his Crush Hammers. He gets all of his lasers, stuff like that. It's really crucial. And the cool thing about this is he gets to kill the Yveltal before it actually gets shuffled back into the deck. And here we see another blockade for 60. Alright, and the Yveltal stays asleep. Okay. So we're just going to see a pass here. And now the Garbage will come active. Now the scary thing about this, if Brit hits a Plasma Energy, here we see it gets this. And he has 2. Or just 1. So we see Brit just going to get 1, which is a Verse Seeker. Not the best Verse Seeker. I mean, best guesses ever. But, I mean, I guess drawing 1 card is better than none. But the thing I was saying is, what's kind of scary, if Brit would have a laser and the Garbodor stay asleep, it'd be kind of messed up there. But here we see Kenton draw into a Dark Energy, but all of his Dark Energies have been licensed or back into his deck, so you can't even Oblivion to get him rolling again. So I think I see a Dark Eye in Kenton's hand, I'm not 100% sure. So Kenton's trying to figure out the math here. How does Garbodor die or something like that? But yeah, I do see a Darkrai in his hand. Ooh, we're going to see a Dark going to the Yveltal EX. Alright, so we're going to see a pass from Kenton. Can't really do anything. Here we see a Crush Hammer. Heads. Kenton is just on... I mean, not Kenton. Brit is just on a roll with these Crush Hammers. Kenton has a pass. Alright, finally somebody's doing something. Here we see Brit played a Battle Compressor. Once again, he just gets to discard 3 cards from his deck. Here we see a Napoleon, Juniper, and probably Archie's if it's not in his hand. Yeah, on Archie's. Now imagine Brit does have a Verse Seeker in his hand. That's why he decided to discard the Juniper. Okay, oh, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. So Kenton drew into a Trubbish. Maybe Kenton can just kind of dance around if he wants to. Here we see a Dark Energy going to the Yveltal EX. We're going to see a pass to the Garbodor in the active spot. I don't know how much I like this play. I'd rather Kenton kind of dance, like send up like the other Trubbish or something like that. But I guess Kenton decided to let the Garbodor die. Now the only scary thing is that Brit can start playing his... Or he start using his abilities. That's why it's kind of scary to let your Garbodor die. But here we see a Crush Hammer, Tails. Alright, finally Brit's hot streak has died off, so that's pretty cool. Pretty good. Here we see a Water Shishi going to Genesect. Alright. Alright, so let's see here. I guess Brit's planning to Megalocannon for his last 2 prizes if he needs to. Here we see another Zekator come down. And we'll see a blockade here for 90. Here we see a Trubbish come active. I think we're just going to see a pass here. Yeah, just a pass. So there's 2 Pokemon on Kenton's bench that have a lot of damage on it. It's kind of weird that Brit just didn't bring up the Yveltal or Sideswipe to just kill it this turn with Blockade. Let's see, 15. Yeah, he could have just brought up the Yveltal with 150 on it, just killed it with the Executor, but I guess Brit doesn't want to do that right now. But here we see a Juniper, discard his hand, draw 7. Maybe Brit's just so used to can't have a Garbodor out, he just forgets that he has abilities. You ever seen Acrobike? Debating what to do. Alright, discards the Flare Grunt. Not really sure what his other card is. Another Acrobike. Discards the Verse Seeker. I think he had a Crush Hammer. Another Acrobike. My lord. Brit is drawn through these Acrobites. Here's a Crush Hammer. Heads. Alright, so Kenton doesn't have any energies now. And we see a blockade for 60. We see Kenton drawn to a Dark Energy. See a Floatstone. Retreat. Stand up Yveltal. And here we'll see a Blue Wing for 30. Question is, does he bench this Darkrai or not? I would like to see Kenton bench this Darkrai, so that way he just has a Pokemon that has no damage on it. Here we see a Blue Wing for 30. Put the Dark Energy on the Darkrai, so I like that play a lot. Here we see a Computer Search, discarding a Muscle Band, a Executor. Of course, can't ever see what card he gets. I imagine this might be a Verse Seeker to use Trump card this turn. So here we're going to see Retreat, send up Genesect, put a Grass here, and take the double knockout. So maybe that's why Brit didn't want to bring up the Genesect last turn, so that way he could just snipe it. Because that was at 150, so he just used 100, because the Yveltal already had 30 on it, so it does 130 total, and then 20 on the bench Yveltal. So that way it knocked out, took his last 3 prizes. So that's pretty good there. So, alright. So, what does Kenton need to do to win is the big question here. So I actually played Brit's deck in Tennessee States, and the only deck I lost to was because my opponent got a turn 2 Garbodor Floatstone, and I had 2 eggs in the discard pile, and my trump card was prized. So I had to scoop that game. Game 2, I just got set up and won. And game 3, he got another turn 2 Garbodor. I'm like 99% sure he got a turn 2 Garbodor again. So that just really hurt me a lot, because couldn't do anything. And he flipped like a lot of, like every time he flipped Hypnotoxic Laser, I was always asleep. He always kept hitting heads, I kept flipping tails. That's how I lost the game, because I couldn't blockade. So that's what Kenton needs to do here. He just needs to get really lucky on his laser flips. He just needs to flip to heads, his Brit needs to flip tails, and so that way Kenton can use his supporters for the turn. And we gotta hope that Brit kind of runs cold on these Crush Hammer heads. We saw a moment where I think Brit was like 4 for 4 straight on Crush Hammer heads and shook like all the energies off of Kenton's board. But both these players are really good. They know what they're doing. I think Kenton's like 50 points away from his Worlds of Fight, and he's barely playing Pokemon right now. Brit, of course, has like a billion points, what it seems like from nowadays. So here's the double mulligan for both of them. They've mulligan twice, which is pretty funny. But like I said, they both know what they're doing. As you see, Kenton does have last year's Worlds mat, and he did play in Vancouver too. Brit into multiple time Worlds competitor, just like Kenton is. So this is actually a really good match. Or both. I mean, obviously it is a really good match, but it's 2 really good players too. All right, so here we go. Both got some Pokemon. Does Kenton have? Oh, doesn't even matter. I was gonna say if he has a Verbank Laser, he could just knock out an egg that way. But you see a pass from Kenton. No supporter from the start. Here we see an Acrobike from Brit. Here we see a discarded Genesect. His other card must be something really good. Here we see another Acrobike. I saw a Plasma Energy in one of the 2 cards. Not really sure what the other card was. So he keeps the other card, discard the Plasma Energy. I see an Ultra Ball in his hand. Now I know at this time Brit only plays 1 Jirachi, so he can't really get a second one out now. So Kenton's hand's pretty bad. It's a Lysander, DC, some other stuff. So here we see an Ultra Ball discarding an Archie's. Oh, a Team Flare Gun. Thanks, Kenton. And a Crushing Hammer, which Kenton's probably like, yes, discard those Crushing Hammers. You don't need those. I don't have any energies in my hand, but Kenton does have energy in his hand. He does have the DC. We see Brit eyeing that execute. Okay, so he does get to execute, puts in his hand. Here we see Brit play Computer Search, discarding an Apollyon and Verbank. Are we going to see a turn 1 Archies here? That would be pretty cool. I did see Brit grab the Archies out of his hand. I wonder if Brit's like last 2 cards are like as Egg and Energy. That'd be pretty cool. We see an Egg, Energy, and Archies. So turn 1 Apollyon. This is pretty cool, because the cool thing about Apollyon is he has the ability Diving Draw, and he do play the Execututes, whatever they're called. You just propagate and then use it to dive and draw 2 cards every turn, which is pretty cool. So turn 1 Empoleon just kind of like seals Kenton's fate. I feel like it's going to be game over here really fast. Here we see a Verse Seeker for another Juniper. This is just in case Kenton Quake a Punch, and as you see from his hand, he does have the ability to Quake a Punch. Here we see the Lysander. The egg does have resistance to water, so it only do 10 damage to it. So Kenton can't even knock out that egg. What he could do is break up this Empoleon. Alright, so we said Kenton decide not to do that. Like I said, he could break up the Empoleon and Quake a Punch it. It kind of waste 2 turns of attaching energies to it. I think it has a 2 retreat cost. It might only have 1. But I'm 99% sure it has a 2 retreat cost. But here we see Brit having a Executor. We're going to see a retreat. We're going to see a blockade. It's going to go down here real quick here. Kenton then top 6 to Jirachi. Oh man. Ken's like, what do I do here? I could Wake and Punch for 10 while he's blockading me for 20. This is gonna be a long game. Alright, so we see a Quake and Punch, then a Executor, Ultra Ball. Oh, he used Diving Draw to discard the Ultra Ball. I think I see it gets this in I don't know. It's hard to see what's in Brit's hand. I know I saw Juniper and Muscle Band, stuff like that. Obviously, he doesn't want to discard that stuff. We see a Laser, too. Here we see another Diving Draw. Another Blockade. Another Quake and Punch. This is so exciting. This is about exciting as a Seismitoad mirror match. So Brit has like 300 cards in his hand right now. There's no point in playing them. He's just going to wait till he kills this Toad. I think he'll have like 500 items to use. See another Quake and Punch. We see a Grass Energy in Brit's hand too, which is pretty cool. Here we see Getsus for 3 Verse Seekers. I think Brit has like a 20 card hand right now. Well, Brit's ready to go whenever he needs to. Alright, we see a Grass Energy go into the Executor. Here we see another Execute. And we see another Blockade. Another Quake and Punch. Team Flare Grunt, discard the DCE. And this is pretty much GG from here. Now Brit can start playing his items. I imagine like multiple Muscle Bands coming down this turn. There's one Muscle Band. Do you have the second one? Here we see an Ultra Ball discarding a Juniper. And a Execute. Let's see. Brit decides not to get anything. Does Brit have Trump card in his hand? I hope it's not prized. Seems like it might be. Verse Seeker. Or use Diving Draw to discard the Verse Seeker. And we see a Blockade for the knockout. And we see a Dark Energy here. I don't think Kenton has any Dark Energies in the discard pile. I'm pretty sure his only card in there is a, or his only energy is a DCE. So here we see a Oblivion for 30. But I imagine Brit has like all 4 Crush Hammers in his hand. Here we see a Laser. Puts the Yveltal to sleep. See if we see a Crush Hammer or not. Here we see a Crush Hammer. Tails. Like I said, I imagine Brit has multiple in his hands. See another Crush Hammer. Get rid of the Dark. See a Plasma Energy go into the Executor. And here we see a Trump card. Did Brit have an egg in the discard pile? I think he had an egg in the discard pile that he forgot to get out. Maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't. I didn't see it. Oh, he has double battle pressure either way. Okay, so he can just get the egg out either way this turn. So here he can get 6 cards total if he wants to. Verbank, Archie, Egg, Verbank, Ultra Ball, Ultra Ball. Just all the cards he doesn't need. And here we'll see another Blockade for 60 total. Oh, we can see a Propagate, Diving Draw, Muscle Band onto the Executor, Acrobike, put the Muscle Band in his hand. I'm pretty sure it's a Muscle Band. Go into the other Executor. And we see another Blockade for 60 here. Ken is on a roll flipping tails here. Here we see another Propagate, Diving Draw. And we see a Blockade for 60. See a Dark Energy going to Yveltal. A pass here. Imagine once again, Brit does have multiple crush hammers in his hand. Maybe not. Oh, no, I see one. There we go. Let's see what happens. Tails, crush hammer, heads. Do we see a laser? Laser. Garbodor is asleep. And we'll see another blockade for 60 total. There we go. But the Garbodor does wake up, but Kenton has no way to retreat. No DCE, no full stone, anything like that. Here we see a Dive Draw, Propagate. Plasma Energy going to the other Executor. And we'll see another blockade for the knockout. Like I said, this game's going downhill pretty fast. I can't see what Kenton can really do in this game. Here we see Kenton use Ultra Ball discarding a Juniper and Verse Seeker, or Lyson and Verse Seeker. Thanks, Kenton, for training that out. Here we see a Trubbish. See another pass. Question is, does Brit have the laser or not in his hand? Here we see a laser, heads, the sleep. Kit was ready to go, but alright. So see a blockade. And I think this is pretty much game here. Because now all Brit has to do is Sympathy Apollyon and attack command. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Yeah. We'll just see like an attack. Oh, we see a laser here. Oh, it doesn't matter. Huh. I thought the Executor had a grass. Maybe it's just a plasma energy. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things. Yeah, so see attack command for game either way. But sorry this game wasn't exciting, but hopefully you enjoyed it. You got to see the power of Executor versus Darkrai. But thanks for watching once again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll have top 4 up as soon as we can. And once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty, bye.